Hello, hello, everybody. See who we got in here and go from there. I hope everybody's excited. Tonight we're going to go through a bunch of clownfish breeding stuff. That's what we're going to go through today. I got a new hatch. We had a hatch last night, so we have some day-old larvae to have a look at, see how they're doing. There's tons of them, tons and tons of them. Also, we have some 11-day-old larvae, very few. That hatch, literally, there was probably 20 eggs left due to the fact I made a lot of mistakes. I let my water parameters get way out of whack on my main tank, my breeding tank, where my clownfish lay the eggs. I let the salinity get way too high, and I believe it killed most of the eggs. But I believe we have 6 survivors in that tank. We have 6 11-day-olds, and we have the 10-week-olds. Maybe they're 11 weeks now. Not sure. Don't really remember. But we're going to go through how we're doing it or how we're trying to do it. This might not be a great live stream for anybody who's like really good at breeding clownfish, because frankly, I just kind of fumble my way through here. So we're just gonna have a look at it, and you might not like the way I do it, but one thing we do have going on is I don't have any rotifers left. My rotifer culture crashed, so I've been raising them on copepods. Copepods are a lot bigger. Oh, hey, Bob. How are you? Yeah, we're going again on this because I got some new things happening with it. And to be totally honest, Bob, that's where most of my focus has been lately, is on the clownfish. I'm still doing the plecos. I'm still doing shrimp. But I've really gotten out of most of cichlids and fish like that. I just don't have enough time to keep up with them all. And to be honest, the clownfish fascinate me. I can honestly see myself going pretty much my entire fish room in that direction, because it's really cool. Sorry, Bob. Yeah, another spawn. Yes. Um, hello, Chevy Fish. Welcome. Yeah, another spawn, Bob. I literally get a spawn every 11 days now. They're just like clockwork. That's all they do. So what I'll take when the eggs are ready for hatch night, I use a terracotta pot, a 4-inch terracotta pot, and I will take that pot out of the main tank hatch night like an hour before they should start hatching. And from there, I put them in a 10-gallon tank that's tinted, usually has rotifers in it. This time I'm using copepods, hoping they eat the baby copepods, but we'll get to that. Yeah, and then I raise them. I don't take every spawn, but I'll put that pot back in tomorrow in the tank after I clean it up good. I don't know. I like to clean the pot up good after. I see a lot of people. I watch Robert Robert King a lot. He's fantastic with his clownfish, and his pot's got algae hanging right off him. So I know he doesn't clean the outside of them, and it's working for him. So, but still, I like to clean it up. Saves them doing a lot of cleaning, and they will spawn in it the next day. It's every 11 days. All right, we got a couple people in. I was just giving it a couple of minutes. This is the first time in a long time I've actually tried going live. So I'm going live. I cannot stream to Facebook and YouTube now on StreamYard because I gave up my paid subscription. I just wasn't using it enough. I've been too erratic on my live streaming. I just haven't had time. Life's been extremely busy. Sorry for the hand in your face. So to yeah, bottom line is, yeah, we'll have a look at these fish. We'll go in 1 sec. I'm just gonna have one sip of my tea here, and we'll carry the camera over and have a look at what we got going on right now. So, like I said, I'm trying this using copepods, and copepods are way too big for at least the kind I have. There's many kinds, but I don't even know what kind it is I have, but it's the only culture that I was able to keep alive. But what I'm hoping is that, and what I think has happened with the 11-day-old guys is they eat the baby copepods. When the copepods spawn in the tank, I have the phytoplankton in the tank to enrich them and feed them. So they're spawning pretty heavy, and they're eating them. Now, at 11 days old, I've noticed there's hardly even any adults left in the tank as well. So they're big enough to eat the adult copepods now as well. And I've been feeding them a lot of brine shrimp as well. So let's go over and have a look. And I'll figure out how to turn this camera around. I don't know where that is. No. Give me 1 sec, guys. Oh, not like that. Let me just see here. I should be able to turn the camera around again. I'm not sure. That just shuts the camera off. Layout settings, maybe. Yeah, here we are. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm obviously being... Okay, here we go. So, this is my I'm going to call it my larvae rack. My larvae rack. I also do my brine shrimp here, and I do my copepods and rotifers when I have rotifers going. But they're not going so good right now. I do have these copepods, so we'll see how clean the bucket looks. I just cleaned them out tonight, so I really kicked up a lot of crap. So there's a lot of crap in the water. We'll have a little look. How I look at my copepods usually, and rotifers, is I have this very bright light up here. And I just shine the light in, and you can see them pretty good. There's quite a few. Like I said, I just did like a 50% water change on it. So I really dwindled the numbers, but that was just one little scoop, and you can see them all in there. But that's what I've been feeding the clownfish larvae. It's in there. So, yeah, my clownfish larvae, they go on this rack. So I'll let you guys see the difference in size between, I guess before I go there, for anybody that might be watching, wondering why the hell everything's all blacked out. Well, it's because they, if you don't do this, they get fright, or they'll just go and bang their face off the glass and injure themselves or kill themselves. Hey, gnarly fish tanks, good to see you. So these guys hatched last night. I don't know if we can get a good look. Oh, yeah. Sorry, trying to get the camera in here. So these guys hatched last night. They're in a 10-gallon tank. It's very, very tinted, and there's lots of food in there for them. I'm just hoping there's enough small food in there for them. But this is the top look. There is a lot in there. We'll have a look at the face. So all I use is a garbage bag, a heavy-duty garbage bag. I have it wrapped right around the tank, and I have it on the face here as well. But it is a little difficult to see in the tank because it is so tinted. There's a bit of glare over here too. Let me kill this light maybe. Let's see how that works. That helps. But here they are. This is fresh 1 1 day old. And I put some brine shrimp in there for them too. I know brine shrimp is a little bit too big for them at this point, but hell, hopefully they eat it. I know it can kill them, get lodged in their mouths, but it was very fresh hatched brine shrimp. And yeah, just trying to see what we can do without rotifers, I guess. Rotifers are the key. Rotifers are the key when you're doing this stuff with clownfish. Yeah, Chevy fish. They're extremely cute. That's what got us in all this mess in the first place. If the parents weren't so damn cute, we probably wouldn't have tried to raise any of the babies, because I was pretty dead set against it. This is Nicole's doing. Nicole wanted baby clownfish, so we got to work. Yeah, so the trash bags I like to use, I'm even kind of picky on that, Chevy Fish. I like to use the Home Depot brand Husky contractor trash bags, just because they're so heavy duty. They don't wear out. They're easy to tape up. A little stiffer than the cheapo garbage bags. But yeah, so at night when I go to hatch these guys, I actually cover the entire tank, everything. It's fully wrapped with a garbage bag, and I have tape over the light on the heater. You can't even see that far back, but there is a heater back there. And I have a tape over the light on the heater just so there was absolutely no light, because they hatch best in complete darkness. So, and I'd say they all hatched. I haven't taken the pot out to have a look. We can do that right now, actually. It's not going to hurt anything. Everybody should be hatched, and if they're not, they're probably not going to hatch. Oh, I don't know if I can get this out of here with a camera in my hand. Try and do it without wrecking anything. Yeah, we got her. So, yeah. See, there's absolutely... Sorry, I have it very dark over there, so we have better light. But looks like, yeah, there was a few that possibly didn't right there. No, that's just their slime from where they stuck to the pot. But yeah, that's the pot. We'll clean that up and get it back in there for the next batch. I'll use the yeah, those would be pretty heavy duty too, Chevy. Sorry guys, I just got to dry my hand off here. This is our makeshift fish room. It's a fish room, but it's my son's exercise room and everything else. But it's pretty handy. I got my laundry tub over here with my RO unit and my bucket for my RO water. It's nice and handy having that here for cleaning everything out. But yeah, so these are, like I said, one day old. They hatched last night, and man, there is a pile of them. Hundreds of them. So let's have a look at these guys. There's not many in here, like I previously mentioned, but this is a tank with 11-day-olds in it. I don't tint the tank as much. It's still very tinted. It's got a lot of big copepods in there. It's got a lot of brine shrimp in there right now too. There's one right there. Very difficult to see to get back in the water, but I just seen him actually eating some brine shrimp. So let's take the top off and have a look. They're sometimes easier to see from up above. These guys here are actually right in the middle of meta. Again, there's not many in here, and with the glare of that light, they're going to be hard to see. There's one. So that guy there, yeah, he's right in the middle of meta right now. There's another one underneath the light. I believe there's only like 6 in here. but the 6 seem to be pretty healthy. So, hey, whatever. I'll take the 6 because I was actually surprised to get anything out of that hatch whatsoever, just because I messed so much stuff up. I'm just glad I didn't lose the parents upstairs or anything with my mistakes. But there's another little fella there, just cruising on by. Oh, hi, Streetwise. Yes, good to see you too. Yeah, these guys are pretty fat, but look at that. Look at how they're eating. That's all their food floating around. They have a constant buffet. Constant buffet. And to me, the big challenges I've found, hurdles, I guess we'll call them, that you have to get, that I've had to get over breeding these guys, is enough food, like massive amounts of food, constant food. But with that comes ammonia issues. So I haven't been lazy about these 2 batches right here. I have not been lazy about them. I've been extremely diligent. They got a water change actually just before we started this live stream, but I've been doing 20% daily water changes, and it's working. I'm not losing the ones I have. So anybody who doesn't believe in water changes should be a believer, because they work. And that's what I did with the older fry, is it was just constant water changes. There's another little guy there. He hasn't quite he's just starting meta. He's just starting. I'm hoping one comes up near the surface where we can get a really good look, because I'm gonna take this. This will make things easier, guys. I can get in a little closer now. See where there's one right here somewhere. See, he's up against the thing. I think that one's in the middle of meta right now. You can see how the body's changed, getting some color. But it's hiding back there, I think, because we're messing around in this tank. And during meta, they don't appreciate that too much. There's one zooming around right over here. Here he comes. Right there. I don't know if you guys can see him. That guy's pretty fat. He's eating good. He's definitely eating good. So yeah, that's the 11-day-olds. Hopefully I can keep the ones we have here alive. Basically, from my experience with the first batch that we'll go and have a look at in a sec, tells me that if you can get through the first 21 days, you're good to go. If you can't get through the first 21, that's the hardest. I find for the first, some people say the meta only takes a couple of days. I've had meta take over a week on the first batch on some babies. I actually wrote them off, figured they were never going to change, but they were just really late. So my first batch, they all weren't completed meta until at least 21, 22 days. So that's the thing, keeping enough nutrition in them for that first 3 weeks. From here right now, in this tank at 1 day old, it's extremely important to try to make sure you can get as much nutrition in them to get them healthy enough to get through metamorphosis. That's the biggest challenge with them. Once you've got through meta, they're fish. Just treat them like any other fish. Another addition, actually, that I've been doing, I'm going to turn this light back on for a sec instead of us standing here in the dark, is some people think this is kind of shitty food. It's Hikari First Bites. I put a lot of Hikari First Bites in with them, and I do it right from day one. Reason being is one of the main ingredients, see if we can get this up here in focus. One of the main ingredients, so you got fish meal, meh, wheat flour, meh, krill meal, meh, soybean meal, meh. That's what I mean. A lot of the ingredients don't seem like much, but then it's got brewer's dried yeast. And brewer's dried yeast is probably the best immune system booster that you can get for baby clownfish. I've read a lot of studies on it, and it's par across the board. Everyone says that there was a certain percentage, I believe it was up to 5% of their daily body weight in dried brewer's yeast, increased their immune systems by up to 300%. So that's huge. And then the next ingredient is spirulina, which is great too. So a little bit of first bites goes a long way just to get some brewer's yeast into them and get their immune systems up so that we can make it through meta okay. If anybody has any questions, ask me as we're going here. I am watching the chat, so just stop me. I can stop anytime. I don't have a schedule or itinerary with this live stream. We're just kind of going through what we got going on here right now. And like I said, we're trying something different here. We're trying to raise these guys on brine shrimp and copepod babies. And hopefully it works. I'm hoping. And kind of show you guys the size difference. I don't notice it until I got a new batch. But you look at how small these guys are. And then you look at just in 11 days. Just 11 days. That's what you got. That guy's going to be white. That guy's almost done meta. Right there. That's the one I was telling you about. But that's 11 days. So if you can make it through even the first 11 days with them, you're off to a great start. But like I said, I don't think you're truly out of the woods until you've made it 21 days. I think 21 days for me was the magic number. Now, remember also different temperatures, different water salinities, everything, different lighting will obviously either make that timing longer or shorter. Nothing's ever exactly the same, so it won't turn out exactly the same. Hello, aquarium treasures. So how often I feed them? So yeah, so these guys here are like the 11-day-olds right now. They just have food with them all the time. So when I see them run out of food, I give them more. I'm giving them brine shrimp daily, and I have a little mix of food, a powdered food. I'll show you with the 10 weeks old. I'll feed them. I'll feed them. It's a mix, a whole bunch of foods. I'll show you what they are, and it seems to be working. So when I'm doing more powdered food rather than live food, I like to feed them at least 5 times a day. The more feedings, smaller feedings more often is way better than a couple of big feedings a day. They don't have a long enough digestive system, big enough stomach, anything like that to keep themselves nourished for the entire day off of one feeding. Yeah, it requires a lot. There's a couple of them there. So I hope that answers your question. Let's go over and have a quick look. Okay, before that, this isn't what's actually in here. I just used this container. Sorry, I'm doing things one-handed here. But it's a powder that I grind up. I use this pepper mill here. And this pepper mill's got, I believe, 4 different kinds of pellets in it. So the types of pellets that are in it is Northfin Marine, New Life Spectrum Marine, and also it has fluval bug bites in it. It also has, there's North Fin Bug Pro in there. And another really great food that's in there, and I don't actually grind it. This stuff's already ground. But this is North Fin Fry Starter. And some people may say I'm biased with North Fin because my friend Jeff works there. But that's not the case. I actually, believe it or not, don't get any deals or anything like that. I pay the same as everybody else pays. But this is why I pay for it. Ingredients, 100% whole Antarctic krill. That is fantastic, fantastic food for them. So, here they are. Everybody's out and about now. They're a lot less shy now. That's what I love about them. So this is 10 weeks old. After you've gone through all the nonsense on the other rack, this is the enjoyment you get at 10 weeks old. And believe me, this is enjoyment. I love these guys. Love them. These guys get more watch time, more everything than just about everybody else in the fish room, just because they're so damn cute. I know Nicole's down here like 3 times a day feeding them. She doesn't come on camera a lot, but she takes she does quite a bit around here for the fish room. She's just camera shy, and yeah, these guys she loves. She helps feed everybody. Hello, Rico Stan. Thank you very much. But yeah, she's a big part of these guys and the growth that we've had with them. They've been growing like crazy. Yeah, they're healthy. Nobody looks like, there is a couple in here. I shouldn't say a couple, actually. I believe it's only one. There is one in here with a pretty bad deformity. He's got a big kink right behind his head. I don't know where he is right now. A lot of them hide up in this corner, up in here, which makes them very... I just tapped the tank by accident. They all freaked out. Now they think they're getting fed up here. They're definitely not camera shy anymore. Thank you, Streetwise. Yeah, definitely nothing wrong with, if you read the ingredients on freshwater fish food and marine fish food. Marine fish food, I think, is almost better for some freshwater fish, because if you notice, most marine food has an awful lot of like spirulina, kelp, that kind of stuff in it, which is really good for your fish. So you'll notice I made this, actually. This, I'm going to call it a breeding net. So this is that stuff. Someone can probably tell me the exact wording for it. You use it for some type of knitting or something. Anyways, you can get it at the dollar store for like $1 a sheet. And I just plastic welded all the seams. I used a torch and a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and just did it by hand, plastic welded them. You could probably see on this end. And it holds it together perfectly tight. Air gets through good, everything. So far it's working really good. And you'll notice I have some guys separated into this side. And the only reason these guys are separated into this side is because they're probably going to be sold shortly. I'm going to sell a few of the babies. These are kind of just normal looking Nemos, basically. A little bit different. Some of them have a little bit different stuff going on, with little spots on their head and stuff. But these are probably going to be the first ones that I sell. And I'm not selling a whole bunch right now. I have 90 fish in here. And I think by the time they get bigger, I'm gonna need a little bit more space. So that's why I'm gonna sell a few. Yes, thank you, Chevy. Yeah, needlepoint mesh. That's exactly what it is. And yes, Rico Stan, that would, yeah, that would work really well for it, actually. Everybody used to use stainless steel for it, but this stuff would work really good for it as well. So yeah, I'm these guys. I don't have a lot of interest in pairing these guys off uh, as much as I have interest in pairing quite a few of these guys off. I really like the whites. The whites is my thing. I think I'm gonna get some more whites. But there's everybody's clownfish fix for the day. I could watch these guys all day though. So I'll just show you real quick kind of my plan. I obviously have an end game for all this. Clearly, you're not going to be able to have enough grow out room without expanding if you're going to grow out. So this 6-foot rack you're looking at is it's going to change. As you can see, I've already emptied 165 gallon on the bottom. That will be sold. And these other tanks will go as well. Really, the only tank I'm keeping out of this entire rack by the time I'm done is the shark shrimp tank. This one we're obviously keeping, but it's going to be moving. Livestock, I don't know, Bob. That's going to require a lot of work on my end that I haven't done, to be totally honest with you. I can still ship dry goods, but livestock's going to require me to get an exporter's license, essentially. So I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'm going to see when. I guess I'm going to have to get enough. I'm going to have to get enough demand for it. If I get enough livestock that I can keep up with enough demand to make it worth it, I'll do it, because I believe there's a little bit of money involved with getting the permits and whatnot, and I just want to make sure that I can keep up with it. Be totally honest, I don't even like shipping livestock. I hate it. Maybe it's better in the States, but here our mail is so inconsistent that just lots of horror stories. So that brings me to, yeah, I guess a point I'm going to talk about is one reason why I am doing this. I just love doing it. I love the challenge, and that's why, as you can see, it's not my first rodeo with breeding fish, but it is my first rodeo with breeding saltwater fish, marine fish. I really don't know anything about marine other than I got some clownfish and they had eggs, and I've raised them. Um, but it's also, I look around, and here's the thing, maybe a pet peeve even. If I was a fish store owner, I would much prefer to have fish that were locally bred, fish that were in a bag for an hour instead of 2 or 3 days. So for all the fish stores that are bringing in imports of different clownfish and whatnot, if they could buy them locally, and if they're willing to pay to have healthy fat fish instead of skinny bellied, stressed out, didn't have very good oxygen fish in their fish stores, fish that they could literally turn around and sell right away, and they're no worse for the wear, rather than having to build them back up, try to get them look good, or selling shitty looking fish. So I'm hoping by breeding these guys, if I can get enough going here, that we shouldn't need to import clownfish from anywhere else in the world. We can just have them home raised in Canada. And that's what I would love to see. And I know there's a gazillion clownfish breeders in the States, so you guys got lots of clownfish down there too. And I'd like to see some more of that going on everywhere. Everyone's supporting their local people. I don't like it for the health of the fish, I guess, shipping them, because let's face it, an hour in a bag versus a couple of days in the bag is a big difference. Yeah, your mail's no good down there either. Yeah, it's well, yeah, I guess I don't know. I try not to follow your guys' politics too much in the States, because quite frankly, it looks like a circus ring. But not saying our politics are any better. But I guess Trump was apparently trying to slow down the mail so people couldn't vote or something. Um, yeah. So this rack, what I'm doing with it, my good friend Steve Langley, I don't know if he's on right now. He usually says something when he's on, but he's got some 18-gallon drilled tanks for me. So what's going to happen is they're going to go on end, back 2 feet, go on four across, four across. I'm going to lower that rack down. Reason being I could do that is because these 65s are going out of here, and I'm going to use, I want to use a 100-gallon sump, but I think I'm going to go with like a 5-foot or 4-foot 75 to 90-gallon. It's got to be low though, because I want to bring that rack down a bit so I have more space to bring the top rack down a bit. That's going to be 8 tanks, sump, all plumbed in, all plumbed together with shutoffs, everything, and that's going to be my clownfish rearing rack. So that's going to be pretty cool, and that's what's in the works right now. I sold my multifasciatus colony. They used to be in this tank. Now I have a few cribs in here that I need to sell. Then I can shut that tank down. This tank's empty except for some snails. And I will be selling my Amica splendens colony, which has bred, by the way. We'll see if we can see a baby. They hang out in the moss. They're really, really hard to see. But if he comes out, this will be where, down on this little hole here. But there's a few babies. You'd be amazed at how big they actually are. Babies are ginormous. We'll give it a couple seconds here, see if he pops out. But this is where the little guys usually come out. Don't look like they're going to make an appearance. But yeah, so I'm going to sell this colony as well to make space and time. It's not all about space. I have lots of space. It's about time. I don't have time to do tons and tons. This keeps me busy enough right here. Our shrimp rack with all our shrimps. But yeah, that's the future plans. One sec here. I'm gonna flip this camera around for a second. All right, there we go. Oh, I need my little stand. I left it over here. Okay. Oh, it won't work sideways. All right. Yeah, politics is a nasty thing. We have to follow it a bit. It's crazy ass stuff going on down south from what I see on the media. Try to stay out of it once again. If I got a little saying, and it's not my saying. I clearly stole it. But a little mind your own business goes a long way. And if more people followed that, we wouldn't have 3/4 of the problems we have right now. But All right, I need a little sip of tea. Done a lot of talking. Does anybody have any more questions about the about how we're doing our larvae, or if anybody has any questions about why I'm doing a certain thing with them or anything? I tend to forget what what when you're new into it. What are the things that really uh, hold you back with breeding them? So I try to remember everything that I'm doing with it, and I don't necessarily do things orthodox. Uh, I try to take people's advice, and then I use that advice until I see that there might be a better way. Whenever I'm doing something, I'm always looking for a better way, a way that I can improve the system. So, for instance, the advice given to me was on hatch night, um, put your pot or whatever the eggs were laid on into your hatch tank, shut the lights off, and put a little tint in the water, but don't add rotifers or anything. Well, no, I said that doesn't make sense. I want them to eat as soon as they're born. As soon as they pop out of that, I want them to be able to open their mouth and get food. Uh, so I put the rotifers, and in this case, copepods this time, in right off the bat because I don't. Yeah, I just I don't. I don't want them to go without eating until I get up in the morning and decide to go and feed them. Bob's asking, what about culling and inbreeding? Good question, Bob. I don't know. Um, I guess I haven't been into it long enough yet to be able to answer that question uh, with really knowing with knowing what I'm talking about. So you know me well enough, Bob. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll be the first to admit it. I would say though, I haven't had to call. I haven't had to call any yet. They all came out beautiful. Like I said, one of them's got a deformity on it. And quite frankly, it seems to be doing just fine. So if someone came to me and said, Jesse, I just want a fish, I don't care what it looks, I would just give it to them and they can have it. Hopefully they don't ever breed it because it's deformed and it could probably live a life. So like out of I started with 94 babies, ended up with I lost a couple after that. I'm down to 90, I believe, and I have one deformity, so that's not too bad. Inbreeding, and I'm guessing inbreeding would be uh, no different, no different than any other fish. If you get the lines too tight, um, who knows what's going to happen, right? But I don't know. I haven't seen it with them, but I have personally inbred fish too much to the point where I caused genetic issues before. Um, and that's how we learn. I learned how far I can push things before I have to do an outcross. I was obviously after a certain trait when I was doing it, and I achieved that trait, but I achieved some negative traits as well. So I had to go back to outcrossing. So I would assume it's the same as that, but I don't know, Bob. Chevyfish asks, have you noticed a difference in survival rates between starting with rotifers as opposed to starting with copepods? That's what we're finding out right now, Chevyfish. I don't know that answer yet. This is the experiment right now. I can't use the ones that are 11 days old right now. I can't use them as an example because it was a very poor harvest to begin with. Um, I made mistakes on my tank upstairs where the parents are, and I let my salinity get too high, and I actually lost most of the eggs. I was surprised to get 6. So I don't know how many eggs I started with. Obviously, it was more than 6, and I lost quite a few, but I don't know yet. So we'll see with this one. This spawn that we have now, this new hatch, is very similar size to the 10-week-olds that we have right now. So this will be a good test to see. I'll do the same consistent water changes, same tinting, but again, I'm using copepods instead of rotifers, and hoping they just eat the baby copepods. I think my biggest worry with this method is I don't think the copepods will reproduce fast enough to keep up with the demand. They eat a lot. You wouldn't believe how much these little things eat. They probably eat 100 a day each. I don't know what they eat, but I'm just saying, every time I look in the tank and I'm really paying attention to them, say by the time they get to day 3 or 4, they've doubled in size. By day 4, they're double the size they were as newborns. And you actually see them going around and darting and eating the rotifers and copepods. So yeah, that's all they do is eat. So hopefully we can keep the ammonia managed, keep the tank stocked with copepods. And like I said, I started with brine shrimp right off the bat because I felt that with that many larvae, I wasn't going to keep up with the copepods. So we'll see. This is a test. This is another test. It's been a long time since I live streamed. I don't know if I've actually ever did a Friday night. I kind of gave up on the whole schedule thing. My work schedule's been absolutely insane lately, working like a madman. And between that and home life and whatnot, and actually looking after these clownfish. So I guess that's something I'll touch on. Beyond the finances, financial restraints of starting with clownfish, that being, you got to spend some money on getting some enrichment foods, whether you go the phytoplankton route or the prepared phytoplankton route. You got to get copepods. You got to get the stuff to keep the copepods. Quite frankly, I live in Canada. That shit's hard to get. I had to order it from California. It cost me $300 just to get into getting food to feed the babies. But the time. So that's why I want to set up this rack. Oh, hey, Nick. There's the feeder. Nikki Dawn is the feeder. She feeds all the babies. So yeah, aside from the money to get started, the time. So Nicole could definitely vouch on this. When I get home from work and I've had supper and I come down and I'm looking after this stuff, I'm just for the 2 larvae tanks, these clownfish here with the setup that I have right now, it's at least an hour a day. It's at least an hour a day. So think about that before you start. If you can't devote an hour a day to looking after them, you're probably not going to wind up with a lot of success unless you have a much more efficient setup than I do. And quite frankly, if you're good at it, you probably do have a lot more efficient system than I do. Mine's just go from the seat of my pants. I'm looking forward to setting this rack up. Setting this rack up is going to give me like way over 200 gallons of water in one system. It's going to stay so much more stable. I can fill that sump. That's why I want a big sump. I want to fill that sump with all kinds of good stuff. I'll put everything I can in there to purify that water, get that water beautiful, because I want less maintenance. I want to be able to pack babies in there. Let's face it, you could get over 100 in one batch. So yeah, I'd like to get it so I have a system that's extremely efficient. Something where I'm going to do less water changes, because that's what takes the time right now. So these larvae, sorry for my hand there all the time, guys. doing mobile, I got to put my hand right up to the camera to push on the comments. And thank you, moderators, for all the stuff you guys are putting up there for us. That's awesome. Oh shit! I remember. I gotta make Nicole a moderator. Oh, I can't do it here. Ah, she gonna kill me. I'm having a hard time making Nicole a moderator. I don't know if I can do it here either. Oh, there you go, Nicole. You're a moderator. Yeah, I just did it on StreamYard. Bob? Oh, maybe I didn't. Sorry, no, I did it on my computer on yeah, without StreamYard. Sorry, Bob. Yeah, that's how I did it. So anyways, there, you're a moderator now, Nicole. Quit bugging me about it. The time I'm talking about is the time it takes to do the water changes. So the water changes, what I literally do in the 10-gallon tanks. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn the camera a bit. It's not kind of getting me all here. Is I use just aquarium tubing, and I use a credit card. I use my Tim Hortons rewards card, and I scrape the bottom as I'm sucking all the debris up with a tube. Now, I'm using airline tubing. I'm doing a 20% water change on a 10-gallon tank. Do you know how slow the water comes through that? Deadly, deadly slow. So it takes forever just to do the water changes properly. You want to get most of that debris cleaned up because it's just going to add to your ammonia. So yeah, you definitely want that cleaned up. It probably takes, yeah, it probably takes like 15 minutes just siphoning. So you do that to a couple of tanks. The 20-gallon tank that the 10-week-olds are in, they're you know, they get a water change about every 3 days. I do it. I'm a little freakish with the water changes. You don't have to do that many, but I do because I don't know. I'm very, I don't know, leery, especially with salt water. I just don't know salt water enough, so I'm extra careful. I do extra water changes. I check, I double check, I triple check. That's all I do is check the water. So I believe I got some food over here, and we'll try to get the clownfish babies to come out a little bit more. So we got our food right here. Try this the old one-handed way. Sorry for one sec, guys. Give them a nice snack. Yeah, gnarly. I'll show you what I do put in the tanks. Are you talking like, are you talking this tank, or are you talking about the tank with the larvae in it, the tinted tanks? These guys need a bit more food over here. These are spoiled fish. We feed a lot. Maybe that's why I do a lot of water changes too. See if we get more to come out from their corner. Yeah, they're all pretty much coming out. Very, very active, very healthy. I think that's what I like about clownfish in general. They're just always doing something. They just don't sit there kind of boring like some fish. They're always doing something, and they do very freakish stuff. Their movements and what they do is just very erratic. Any that have lights? No, I haven't. I haven't done that, but I will definitely look into it. I'll show you what I do put in for my tinting, though. I'm surprised that wasn't a question that came up, actually. So I have a little fridge down here. This stuff's called RG Complete by Reef Nutrition, and it's food and enrichment. So I put this in. This stuff's probably going to be hard to read because I'm almost done this bag of it, actually. I do have another. This stuff is sloppy, messy crap, but it works really good. You will never read the label, but that is called Rotogrow Plus. And that's how I make the water green. And that's how I feed the copepods, rotifers, everything. It's phytoplanktons and whatnot. One last look at these guys, and I think we'll wrap her up very shortly. We're coming up to an hour. I didn't plan on being on all night, but just kind of wanted to go through just the basics with everybody, how we're doing this. I haven't done an update in a long time. I want everybody to know we didn't give up on raising these guys. We're still doing it, and we're trying to get even more generations. So yeah, they're looking pretty healthy. Pretty healthy. Getting to the point where I got to start feeding them even bigger food. I was actually just looking tonight. I was going to start a new. I was going to start a new. What do you call it? Container for. Oops, sorry guys. I was going to start a new container. With slightly bigger food because they're working awfully hard looking for all that little food. I'm looking at doing a planted microalgae tank for my first. Most definitely, I'll have to check that out. So what are you gonna put in? Are you gonna put livestock in with it, or is it just planted? So does anybody have any more questions or comments or anything else you guys are wanting to look at? We'll chat here for a couple minutes and then we'll probably wrap it up. I can't see the comments. I have my computer on as well. The comments come much faster on the computer. Hello, Molo Fish Hunter. How are you? Good to see you. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Gnarly. Yeah, that'll be neat. We'll have to have a look at it when you get her set up. Oh, you're welcome, Bob. Thanks for coming out and supporting us. And Aquarium Treasures as well. Thank you very much for coming out and supporting us. Hopefully, that's all I'm trying to do here, guys, is see if we can get some more knowledge spread around. That's all we're about. And one thing there's a couple of guys that are really good for spreading their knowledge of breeding fish and raising fish, especially in saltwater. It's kind of a cliquey crowd sometimes, to be honest. And to get information, you kind of got to be in with certain people. So I'm not like that. I think I'd rather see people succeed than people fail. So I don't get off on watching people fail. I like seeing people succeed. So I'd like to help people succeed. And if they have other success breeds success. If I'm succeeding at doing something and I show some of my friends how I've done it and they've succeeded as well. But maybe they succeeded and did even better than my success because they tweaked what I did a little bit, and it just worked even better than my idea. Perfect. And they can send out information back to me, and then I can try and use their tweak. So you get what I'm saying. It's a great thing, is what it is. If we can work together, we can share information, we can build on each other's ideas, and not only build on our ideas, we can learn from each other's mistakes as well. That's why I'm not shy when I come on to say, listen, this batch that I got that's 11 days old, there's only 6 babies there because this is what I screwed up. Well, now you know, don't screw that up. You don't have to make that mistake. So it's good to share our successes and our mistakes. Bob, it's not. I must have messed up in talking all stupid or something. His name is Robert King. Robert King, and he's on Facebook actually. You know what? I'll just minimize this. See if I can do this and keep my privacy. Putting you guys on. I'll show. Is that him? I believe I follow him. Give me 1 sec, guys. He's on. I know how to find. Sorry, I'm looking around the camera. Okay. So I'll just bear with me for 1 sec, guys. I'll spin this thing around again. I have it on my computer, who I'm talking about. But yeah, this guy seems absolutely phenomenal at so here's his Facebook page. Leave that there for a sec. But yeah, the guy's all about clownfish. He sells clownfish, obviously. I believe it's in New Jersey or something like that. And yeah, really, really knowledgeable. He goes live on Facebook a lot. So that's where I don't think he's on YouTube. I think he's only on Facebook. But he's got about 3,000 followers, I believe, on Facebook. And he's got some absolutely beautiful fish. And he breeds them extremely regularly. So he's definitely someone to watch because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's been doing it for a long, long time. So I do watch him from time to time. Yeah, you won't find a YouTube for him, Bob. He's only on Facebook. But yeah, he's definitely, if you're more advanced into clownfish or you want to see his ideas and use his, by all means. The guy knows what he's doing. Check him out. If you're on Facebook. Well, everybody, we've done over an hour here, and I've talked enough. Excuse me. Don't worry, no COVID. Oh, there you go. Oh, I guess he does have a YouTube channel. I didn't know that. Let's see. Oh, he's got yeah, that's him, because those are his fish there. I'll just turn it around. I won't be able to see, but that's him there. But he mainly yeah, he's just on the old Facebook. So Anyways, I'm rambling on here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for participating. If you are not a subscriber and you've been watching and you like what you see, by all means, help us out. Support us. We're getting very close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I think we're at 891. So we have a few more to go, and we'll get there. But thank you, everybody. Stay safe. And until we get a chance to do this again, take care, everyone. Happy fish keeping. Bye for now.